You are 7 years old. It is the morning of your birthday. The day before felt like a month. The week before felt like a year. Time moves so slowly you could almost watch it. You could feel every hour. Now you are older, and last year is already gone. You're not sure where March went. You have a memory of January, and somehow it's already this. The years are not slowing down, they are accelerating. And the older you get, the faster they go. This is not imagination. This is not nostalgia. This is one of the most consistent and measurable phenomena in human psychology. And the explanation for it is stranger than you think. Because it turns out the speed of time has almost nothing to do with time itself. It has everything to do with you, specifically with how much of you is left to fill it. Let's start with a number. When you are 10 years old, 1 year represents 10% of your entire life. It is a significant chunk. It is loaded with firsts. First day of school, first friend, first fear, first loss. Every experience is new, which means your brain has to work hard to process and store it. New experiences generate rich, detailed memories. Rich, detailed memories feel long when you look back at them. A year full of new things feels, in memory, like a very long year. When you are 40, 1 year represents 2.5% of your life. You've seen most of it before. The drive to work is the same drive, the meetings are familiar, the seasons arrive as expected. Your brain, which is ruthlessly efficient, does not bother storing what it already knows. Routine is invisible to memory. And a year with few new memories feels, in retrospect, like almost no time at all. This is called the proportionality theory, and it was first formalized by the philosopher Paul Janet in 1897. The idea is simple. We experience time relative to how much of it we have already lived. A year to a 5-year-old is 1/5 of their entire existence. A year to a 50-year-old is 1/50th, the same 12 months, completely different weight. But proportionality is only part of the answer, because the real mechanism goes deeper into the way your brain actually processes and stores experience. And this is where it gets genuinely strange. Your brain does not record time like a clock. It records time like a story. And stories are made of moments that matter. When something is new, unexpected, or emotionally significant, your brain flags it. It pays attention. It lays down a thick, detailed memory trace, rich with context, sensation, location, even smell. Later, when you look back at that period, your brain has a lot of material to work with. The memory feels full. The time feels long. When something is routine, the same commute, the same lunch, the same evening, your brain doesn't flag it. It processes it on autopilot. No detailed memory is formed. No trace is laid down. And when you look back at a month of routine, your brain finds almost nothing there. The month is thin. It feels like it barely happened. Neuroscientists call this the memory-time relationship. The subjective length of a past period is directly proportional to how many distinct memories it contains. Not how many hours passed, how many distinct moments were recorded. And here is the part that should bother you. The average adult spends somewhere between 40 and 50% of their waking hours on autopilot, doing tasks they've done hundreds of times before, thinking thoughts they've thought before, moving through environments they know completely. Nearly half of your day is generating almost no memory at all. From the perspective of your future self looking back, nearly half of today will simply not exist. In 2019, researchers at the Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich ran a study on how people estimate past time periods. They found that the more novel experiences a period contained, the longer it felt in retrospect. Holidays feel long in memory, not because you had more hours, but because you had more new ones. Every meal was different. Every street was unfamiliar. Your brain was taking photographs constantly. When you look back at a 2-week holiday, it can feel like a month. When you look back at a 2-week stretch of ordinary routine, it can feel like 2 days. This is why childhood summers felt infinite. Your brain was encountering almost everything for the first time. The texture of grass, the specific weight of boredom on a hot afternoon, the way a certain house smelled. Every experience was new data, and your brain was storing all of it. When you look back at a childhood summer now, you can find dozens of distinct memories packed into those few months. It feels long because it was full. But there is a third layer to this, one that goes beyond memory and into the actual physical biology of your brain. And this one you cannot hack or fix or optimize your way around. When you are young, your brain is processing information at a much higher rate than when you are old. The neural pathways are firing faster. The sensory data coming in from your eyes, your ears, your skin is being sampled more frequently. Think of it like a camera frame rate. A high frame rate camera captures more images per second. When you play that footage back, it feels richer, fuller, more detailed. A child's brain is running at something closer to a high frame rate. More samples of experience per unit of time, which means more data, more memory, more perceived duration. An older brain processes incoming data more slowly, fewer samples per second, less detail captured per hour. The footage is sparser, and when you play it back, it feels shorter. Researcher Adrian Bejan at Duke University published a paper on this in 2019 that made serious waves in cognitive science. His argument was that the subjective slowing of time as we age is a direct consequence of the slowing of neural signal processing. As the brain ages and its neural networks become less flexible, the rate at which it can process new visual information decreases. The mind receives fewer mental images per unit of real time. And since we measure time internally by counting those images, fewer images means less perceived time. The clock on the wall keeps perfect rhythm. The clock in your head slows down. Bejan's conclusion was direct. He wrote that the reason a summer felt so long at age 10 and so short at 40 has nothing to do with how busy you were or how happy you were. It has to do with the physics of information processing in an aging brain. Time doesn't speed up. Your ability to sample it slows down. So what does this mean practically? What can you actually do with this information? The honest answer is more than most people think. Because while you cannot reverse the aging of your neural networks, you can directly influence how many distinct memories a period of your life generates. And that is the variable that determines how long it feels. Research on time perception consistently shows that novel experiences, learning new skills, traveling to unfamiliar places, meeting new people, even taking a different route home, all of these generate richer memory traces. They slow down perceived time, both in the moment and in retrospect. A day spent learning something genuinely new feels longer than a day on autopilot. A month of deliberate new experiences can feel, in memory, twice as long as a month of comfortable routine. This is not a small effect. Studies have shown that people who regularly seek novelty report feeling like their lives are moving at a slower, more manageable pace. Not because their circumstances are different, because their brains are generating more material, more photographs, more story. There is a researcher named David Eagleman at Stanford who studies time perception. He describes the experience of time as fundamentally a story your brain tells about the past, not a recording, a story. And stories need material to work with. A life spent largely on autopilot generates thin material. A life filled with new experience, genuine challenge, and deliberate attention generates rich material. And a story that, when you look back on it, feels like it actually lasted. The years are not speeding up. You are just taking fewer photographs of them. Think about the last 5 years of your life. Close your eyes for a moment and count how many truly distinct memories you can pull from that period. Specific moments with texture and detail. Now think about a 5-year stretch of your childhood. Which one has more? For most people, the answer is obvious. And the gap between those two answers is the gap between how long those periods feel. You cannot go back and re-photograph your past, but you are taking photographs right now with whatever you do today. And whether today generates a memory worth keeping, a moment your future self can find when they look back, depends almost entirely on whether you gave your brain something new enough to bother saving. Every year that passes without new material is a year that will feel, in memory, like it barely happened. Every year loaded with genuinely new experience is a year that stretches. A year you will actually be able to find later when you go looking. Time is not running out faster than it used to. You are just spending more of it somewhere your brain doesn't bother to record. The question is not, where did the years go? The question is, what were you doing when your brain decided they weren't worth remembering?